My name is Brandon Walker. I host the Brandon Walker College Football Show. You are watching the Brandon Walker College Football Show. That's the Brandon Walker College Football Show that's happening right now. Good to see everybody. I already have people being great big bitches on the YouTube chat. John Post says Brandon will say Penn State was overrated and give Michigan no credit after they win 35-7. I don't know what happened to Michigan fans. I don't know who touched Michigan fans, who hurt Michigan fans. You made the playoff last year. You're undefeated this year, and you're so goddamn worried about what everybody thinks about you. You're so fucking pathetic. You've been a good team. You are a good team. Why don't you act like a good team and not want everybody to tickle your fucking balls all the time, John Post, you little whiny bitch. We're off to a good start. It is the Brandon Walker College Football Show. Hello to everybody out there. Hello to everybody on the phone lines. 888-STOOL-22. 888-STOOL-22. Conditions might be favorable for Brandon to be on one.
Why's that?
I don't know. I just feel it. I can just feel it. I can feel it. Hello to everybody. John Post, Matt Dixon, Cody LaChance, Day R, Eddie Reyna. Love BFW. That shirt is not good on him. Are you kidding? Look at this. This is a fucking Mississippi State. This is sexy. Sexy time. This is my sexy time shirt. What'd you think of the Philly stream? Well, it was about baseball, and I could give a fuck about baseball. If they blew up every stadium today, I wouldn't care. The mid of hats. Sean Kenna, Dylan Ramsey, Nate Neal, D. Jonesy, Wes Livingston, Benjamin Mathias, Chauncey, Evan Floyd Music. Why did the lights just go up? Zach Webb, Joe, Sam Ryan, who says it hides his fat. I think it doesn't hide my fat. That's the problem. Hello. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing good. When you put that chat up, is that just for me or does everybody see that? That's just for me? Nobody. Everybody sees that. Okay. Because sometimes the chat be tripping. The chat be tripping. 888-STOOL-22. We're halfway through the season. And this weekend, I think it's going to be nut-cutting time for a lot of programs. There's several programs who've enjoyed great starts to the season, but this is going to be one of those weekends where we start to find out who's real and who's fake. Who's a contender and who's a pretender. Right now, in the Big Ten East, both Penn State and Michigan are both undefeated. They both look like contenders. Come Saturday, there's a very real chance one of them will have been exposed. Oklahoma State and TCU have both gotten off to a good start. Who's real? Oklahoma State's gone on the road and won at Baylor. TCU's beaten Kansas. They've beaten Oklahoma. Are those good wins? I don't know. So does one of those get exposed this week? USC is at Utah, and I believe the whole world thinks USC is walking into a trap filled with snakes, spiders, and monsters. I don't know that I do. I think USC is fully equipped to go into Utah and win. I don't know that what I've seen out of this Utah team so far tells me they respond in the tough moments. They didn't respond in Gainesville. They didn't respond in L.A. the other night. Why are they going to respond now? I feel like this weekend is a huge, huge, huge weekend in college football. Obviously, Alabama plays Tennessee. Oh, real quick, Jonathan Irvin says, Brandon, what's your Chick-fil-A order for lunch? Well, I'm dieting right now, even though I did just have a bunch of raviolis I shouldn't have had. I usually just 12 nuggets, fries, and a sweet tea. In New York City, that costs $35. $35. Now, Michigan and Penn State. I don't know what to think. I really don't know that we know very much about either of these teams. J.J. McCarthy's looked fine. Blake Corum's looked like one of the best running backs in the country. Michigan's offense is full of explosive playmakers. I'm not sure how much their defense has had to prove yet. They played a garbage out-of-conference schedule and a really slow-starting Big Ten schedule. They'll get to some tough games, but they haven't played them yet. And I don't know that their defense is good. Can your defense prove anything against Indiana and Iowa? Maryland's not a bad team. Maryland also scored 29 points. So I don't know. I don't know what to make about Michigan and Penn State. This is going to be a weekend where we find out which one's real. Michigan's at home. They're 7-point favorites. Sean Clifford, can he have the biggest win of his life? I have no idea what to do with that game. I want you guys to tell me. I know Michigan fans will tell me they're great, awesome, fantastic, but you haven't played anybody. I know Penn State fans will tell me they're great, awesome, fantastic, but what do we know? What do we know? The biggest discrepancy in how a team feels about themselves and how a team might feel about themselves next week are the Tennessee Volunteers. Everything is great. Everything is fantastic. Everything is amazing right now for Tennessee. But Alabama has made a living over the last 15 years under Saban showing people how good they really are. When they think they're good, when they think they're great, when they think they're undefeated, and they think everything's fantastic, Alabama has made a living walking into your building and pissing down your fucking throat. Is this a different Tennessee team? Feels like it, but their defense ain't great. I don't know. I feel like if Bryce Young plays this weekend, it's going to be a massive reality check for the Tennessee Volunteers. I would love to be wrong, actually. I would love to be wrong. I don't hate the chat, Tiger Hood. I'm not going to read you anymore because you're being a bitch. What's the most important, non-important thing in the world to you, David Russell? Video games. Love video games. When I get home, here's a typical day for me. I wake up. I get in the car, drive to Secaucus, about 30 minutes. Play a couple of podcasts, either one of Conrad Thompson's podcasts or the Real Watchables. I come to work. I get here. I work my fucking dick off while a bunch of fucking kids make a lot of money, sit over there doing not a goddamn thing. And then I get off at 8, and I drive home, and I watch old video game YouTubers that just play Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games, like Sega Lord X or Super SNES Drunk, SNES Drunk, or a couple other guys. That's what I do. By the way, if you know any retro video game YouTubers that I could watch, I'd like to. Hey, fuck you, Dougs. Fuck you. That's what I do in my life. Sometimes y'all just need to know about me. Sometimes you just need to know about me. I'll play a game of 2K here and there. I'll play a game of Madden here or there. But I don't really play it very much. Top 5 video games from the 90s? Oh, I mean, NBA Jam certainly has to be there. Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 2 have consideration. The Super Nintendo Zelda. 90s is a long time. Video games changed a lot during that time period.
Mariners hit a home run.
Mariners hit a home run. Okay.
They're up 7-3.
Again, I'd like to make one thing very crystal clear one more time. I fucking hate baseball, and I don't care what happens.
When you were growing up, did you ever play any like weird off-brand, like not popular name brand games that you liked a lot, like the fighting games you just mentioned? When I was growing up, I played Mortal Kombat, I played Street Fighter, but I also always had like Virtua Fighter and Soul Calibur.
Yeah, I don't know how off-brand those were. I mean,
I know they're just not the the upper echelon.
I mean, and, Tekken.
Tekken's great.
The Tekken series was good. Soul Calibur. I had one called for the PlayStation Battle Arena Toshinden. But I was never a fighting game guy, really. I didn't enjoy it. I play mostly sports games and occasionally some non-sports games, but I mostly play sports games. Your NCAAs, your Coach K college basketball for the Sega Genesis, stuff like that.
I always feel left out when people talk about MVP Baseball 05 because
it's the greatest game of all time.
I had 2K5.
Wow.
Because Derek Jeter was on the cover of it.
You were quite a poor.
So I picked that one.
You are quite a poor. I guess I could get to the calls so I don't have to talk video games. This is a college football show after all. Brandon, who's winning the Super Bowl this season? I just don't see a world where the Bills don't win it. I think the Bills are far and away the best team in football. They've already lost. Have they lost twice or have they lost once? No, they lost once, right? To the Dolphins? That's their only loss? They beat the Steelers. They beat the Ravens. I think the Bills win it. TJ's hat says RBI baseball greater than. And that's not right. That's incorrect. I'm here to tell you that RBI baseball is one of the more overrated games you'll ever see. Double dribble is also overrated. Blades of Steel, slightly overrated. But RBI baseball, I mean, it's just home run. The players are fat. The graphics are bad. It's not great. It's not the best. It's a top 5 baseball game on the Nintendo, but it's not number 1. I don't think it's number 2. Baseball Stars is number 1. I would go BYU. BYU's going to beat Arkansas. I told you that weeks ago. Because Arkansas is not good, and I told y'all Arkansas wasn't good. I told you Arkansas wasn't good. 888-STOOL-22. Go ahead and vet my calls for me, would you? And I'll get to your calls in just a second. I'm talking to the chat right now. I don't have turkey throat. My throat's fine. What'd you think about Extreme Rules on Sunday? I didn't think about it on Sunday because it was Saturday. Dummy. Fucking owned him. Owned his ass. 888-STOOL-22. NHL Hits was great. It really was. Me and my friend Alan used to have the Stanley Cup. It was a koozie turned upside down with a styrofoam cup that we wrote our names on. If we won, we would have NHL Hits Series 4 out of 7, and I won it more often than – well, Marcus Taylor was also involved, but I won it mostly. I like when you guys get to know about me. If you would like to ask me any more questions about me, you can. If Texas wins out, do they have a shot at the college football playoff? Yes, they do. They do. And anybody who says they don't lacks vision. You're stupid and you're ugly and you lack vision. Do they have a great shot at the playoff? No. Do they have a good shot at the playoff? No. Do they have a shot at the playoff? Yes. 888-STOOL-22. Was Frank right? I don't know. Take that. I hate when people ask me questions about that. I don't give a fuck about that. All right, let's go to the calls. We go to Cal in Arizona. Go, Cal.
Hey, B-Walk. Thank you for taking my call, man. So I got a kind of a hypothetical for you. I know you're used to doing top 10s, but I got a top 5 for you. So let's say young B-Walk, 18-year-old coming out of high school, and you can go to any college that you would like. What are your top 5 schools that you'd go to, take all things considered?
Well, and while I love Mississippi State the most, I got to tell you the truth. Young Brandon Walker, if he was a 5-star receiver or a quarterback, he would go where the money is, and he would go where who's going to offer the most money. And now we're in an era where that's NIL and all that, and everything's done above board. But I would go to whoever the biggest cheater is. Who's going to give me the money and the pussy? So usually it's Alabama or Auburn. Auburn's a big-time cheater. Clemson, of course, does it better than anybody. So I would probably go somewhere that's going to treat me like a 5-star and give me great things in life. Also, I would have Mississippi State in my top 5 because I love them so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
Two things about me, because you guys asked about me. Money and pussy. I'm in favor of both. I've never had a lot of either. 888-STOOL-22. If everyone pays the same, Peter McJigglepants, we don't live in a college football world where everybody pays the same. We don't. We just don't. We don't. Talk about Pretty Dick 6'9". Talk about a fantasy. Got to read to go to college. No, you don't. You seen some of these players? No, you don't. 888-STOOL-22. Mariners still winning?
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a shit, really? Caden in Fort Worth, go.
Hey, what's up, Brandon? Hope all is well, man. Sorry for your loss. Hope the family down south is doing well after a tough week.
Thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to call. I don't know if you heard or saw Jalen Daniels out for the season.
Of course.
Obviously, myself being a loyal TCU fan, that Bean guy came in. I always think of Joe Bean. Shout out the Permian Panthers. But what do you think about Bean's performance coming in the second half? And do you honestly think that they're better off and have a better passer in Bean than they did Jalen Daniels?
Well, I don't know that they're better off, but I tell you what it showed me. Forget about Jalen Daniels, forget about Jason Bean, and consider this. Watch in college football this Saturday when a starter goes out, and watch how the offensive coordinator and the coach for that team go into a shell, and they immediately just forget 90% of their playbook, and they just run quarterback draws or halfback draws on 3rd and 12, and they coach and play like pussies because they don't have their starting quarterback. They act like their backup quarterback has never seen a football before. Did Lance Leipold do that? Lance Leipold, who's one of the better coaches in the country? Lance Leipold, who has turned around Kansas? No. His backup came in, boom, We're still throwing it. We're still attacking. We're still going. We're still going. We're still going. I don't expect them to drop off at all without Jalen Daniels. It's a shame because he was having an incredible year, but Jason Bean showed that he can throw the football. They're going to be aggressive. They're well coached, and when you're well coached, you can take a backup quarterback and still succeed, and that's why a lot of these coaching staffs across the country fucking suck because they coach like bitches when their backup quarterback gets in. I'm looking at you, Kentucky. You did it the other night. Thank you very much for the call. 888-STOOL-22. Pondy says hockey is the number one sport to experience a live game. Would you agree with that, TJ?
I would say college basketball, I think, is the best.
Well, all sports are good to experience live, okay? Two sports I think that are way better live than they are on TV. How about that? Way better live than they are on TV is NASCAR and hockey. I would never sit down and watch a NASCAR race. Never in a world would I sit down on TV. But if you go in person, that shit's crazy good. That shit's fantastic.
I would love to one day.
That shit's amazing in person. And I haven't been to a hockey game, or at least a National Hockey League game yet. In fact, they're playing across the street in about an hour. I got to go to a Rangers game soon. 888-STOOL-22.
We'll do it with Game Time or something. We'll run the Yankees game back.
Yeah, we'll run the. Do they have chicken buckets in the garden?
Yeah, they're probably $90, but yeah.
What do I care?
Shit.
what do I care?
All right, then buy your own tickets.
Didn't I buy your chicken bucket last time?
I don't think so.
I did. I gave you my card, and you went and got the chicken bucket.
That's true.
You lying piece of shit.
I was drunk.
Yeah, I gave you my card and said, go get a chicken bucket.
Yeah, sure did.
How much did I pay for that?
$20? $21?
That ain't bad.
Right.
That chicken bucket at Yankee Stadium, I ain't gonna lie to you. Not only the chicken bucket, that steak sandwich.
I've been trying to tell you.
That thing was good.
Yes, Lobels. They're a sponsor of Barstool.
Are they really? Yeah, Yankee Stadium had good food. But I guess everywhere has good food.
Yankees play tonight.
I don't care. Who gives a shit?
Packed house in the gambling cave after this.
Oh, that sounds like
also the dozen.
Sounds like it'll smell great. Who cares about the dozen?
Do you
I'm not
play
on
tonight?
it. I'm not on it. Don't watch the dozen if I'm not on it.
When do you start?
Start what?
The dozen.
What do you start? Eli, go.
Hey, Brandon, how we doing, King?
I'm good. What's up?
All right, so first off, are you nervous at all with USC that they're giving up 4.5 rushing yards per attempt this season and that they're going to Utah in a hostile environment this weekend?
Not really worried as much about the 4.5 yards because I don't really feel like that's all that much. But I am nervous about going to Utah. Utah is maybe historically the toughest place in the last 10 years to play in the Pac-12. It's not easy to play there. You're way away from home. It's crazy out there. So I'm worried about that. But I still lean USC because I trust the coach. Listen, this ain't USC under Clay Helton. This is USC under Lincoln Riley, and their defense has been better than people anticipated. I think they have a good recipe, and they match up very well with this Utah team.
All right, and second thing, if you were placed in a Fatal Four TLC match with you, Josh Pate, Andy Staples, and Tom Fornelli, who's winning and how's the match going?
Well, I mean, I'm winning because I'm the only one that's an actual human-sized person. I've never met Andy Staples or Tom Fornelli. They seem like wonderful guys on Twitter, but let's be honest, I'm 6'5", 260. I'm a little fat and overweight. But in a fatal four-way match, I can let Josh Pate, who's a little musclehead, I can let him beat up everybody and then hit him in the back of the head with a steel chair, and I'm going to win the match. So that's easy.
And that's why you're the fucking king, B-Walk. Stay up.
That's why I'm the fucking king. I will stay up. What does that mean? Is he talking about my penis? We go to Bubs in Iowa. Go, Bubs.
Brandon, Bubs at Tub Club. Hope you're doing average. 58 days till Rough and Rowdy in Providence. We'll start off with trivia here to kick us off.
Yes.
What is the winningest FBS program to never win a Rose Bowl?
I mean, that could be so many. So many teams would not have been involved in a Rose Bowl. I'm about to. All right, hold on. Has Notre Dame ever had reason to go to the Rose Bowl? Was Notre Dame in a bunch of Rose Bowls back in the day? I don't know that. I'm going to say Notre Dame.
The answer is Nebraska Cornhuskers.
Nebraska was my second guess.
I like.
All right, continue.
All right, and then, pretty open-ended question here, but just want to hear. We're almost halfway through the season. Want to hear your most overachieving and underachieving teams thus far in the year.
Overachieving, I don't know how it's not the Kansas Jayhawks. They're 5-1. They just came through a decade where they were averaging 1.8 wins a season, and they just had game day. They just got in the top 25, and their only loss is to an undefeated top 15 team. So the Kansas Jayhawks have to be the most overachieving. I would say Syracuse has overachieved as well. Underachieving, based on preseason hype, I don't know how the answer wouldn't be the Michigan State Spartans. They finished top 10 last year. They won 11 games last year. They were in the playoff race to the end last year. They came in this year. They didn't lose all that much, and look at them. They're just total garbage. They're 2-4. They can't beat anybody. I would say Michigan State. Who do you have?
Underachieving, I think Iowa's way up there. Oklahoma's up there. Venables isn't, that defense isn't really pulling in much.
Yeah.
Overachieving, though, I 100% agree. Kansas has to be the pick. Syracuse is a great one, too. But, yeah those are my hot ones.
All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think and listen, you guys saying Notre Dame for underachieving. I mean, that's not even close. They're 3-2. They've gotten up off the mat. They started off poorly and bad, but now they're 3-2. They've beaten North Carolina, who's not a bad football team. They've beaten who they just beat? BYU. I mean, they can still very well win 8 or 9 games, or will win 8 or 9 games with a tough schedule. We go to Nick in Illinois. Go, Nick.
Hey, Brandon, how are you, sir?
I'm better than you've ever been in your life.
Love that. What I do like this week, you mentioned Notre Dame. They beat Cal. I like Cal this week, minus 14.5. I think they're a little undervalued walking into Colorado. And also, just a little throw in, what is your favorite domestic to the United States tree? We have palm, we have oak, we have evergreen, we have willow. Curious where you fall.
TJ, is this a...
I didn't hear it.
Can you ask the question again?
What is your favorite domestic tree? So any type of tree, like an evergreen tree, a palm tree. It could be a willow tree. Where do you fall in your favorite types of tree?
I like a good, strong, hardy oak tree. I think that's a good anchor to any yard out there in America. I like a good oak tree. What do you like?
I think I lean evergreen tree just for the Christmas aspect. I think that was easily the most recognizable to maybe to people in the United States.
Yeah, but I feel like evergreen trees. I feel like Greenland, Iceland. I feel like all these places have evergreen trees. The good, strong, hardy oak is a sign of strength in any front yard in America. I don't know. Evergreen trees are, I guess they're okay. I don't know. I kind of like my trees to lose their leaves in the fall and then come back in the spring.
Honorable mention redwood.
I've never seen a good redwood, but I would say redwood. Yeah, I'd like to go see a good redwood tree, but I'd have to go to California and fuck that. I'm not doing that shit. 888 Stool 22. D. Jonesy, pine trees are lame. They really are. Needles and cones everywhere. You can't eat anything off a pine tree.
You do the real tree or the fake tree for Christmas?
I have a big fake tree.
Same.
Yeah.
It's fucking annoying to have a real tree in the
I have
house.
a big fake tree.
Also, I had a cat growing up, and it would just fucking eat the tree and then get sick.
I have a big fake tree. It's just easier. It's time for the tree. All right, I'll go down and get it. I don't have to get in the car. I don't have to do anything.
Spend money.
Dio Industry says Brandon wants a strong tree. Now, why is that? What does that even mean? You saying I'm smoking weed? JD in St. Oh, boy. Buckle up. All right. JD in St. Louis, go ahead.
Hey, old boy.
What's up, Playboy? How you doing?
We living high on cotton?
If you take the racial undertones out of that, I would say yes.
All right. Well, you look pretty as a peach, but I want to. Can I be vulnerable with you for a moment?
Please do. Nobody's listening but me and you.
I want to share with you my dreams, Brandon Walker.
Go ahead.
If I had my druthers, I'd be your personal assistant.
Okay.
So I'm fixing to help you prepare for the dozen, so everything doesn't go cattywampus and you get madder than a wet hand. Understand?
Why are you talking like this? You've never talked like this before.
I'm finer than a frog hair split 4 ways. You understand? So let me help you. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 5 trivia questions, college football trivia questions. The goal is to get the majority.
So 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. That's the majority. So I'm going to ask you these. We get 3 out of 5. I want to be there for you. I'm trying to help you be better. Okay? So we're going to win this next match as long as the creek don't rise.
Why are you suddenly a Southern grandfather?
What?
Why are you a Southern grandfather with your phrasing all of a sudden?
I don't know. Let's get to the questions. You ready?
Yeah.
Who is the only non-quarterback or running back to win MVP of the college football playoff title games? Only non-QB, non-quarterback, or not a running back. They won the MVP.
Yeah. I'm going through the games. All right. Hold on. So it didn't happen in that year. It didn't happen in that year. It didn't happen last year. Did it happen last year? Who the fuck won the title last year? Non-running back or non-quarterback?
Correct. You have 25 seconds.
Jamar Chase.
No, O.J. Howard, Alabama. Okay, that's okay. That was one.
All right. Fair enough. That's a good. Hey, JD. That was a good question.
Thank you. Okay, number 2. One starting quarterback lost back-to-back BCS national championship games. One starting quarterback lost back-to-back BCS national championship games. Who was that?
Just chill out. How much time do I have? Okay.
You have plenty of time.
Okay. All right.
Plenty of time.
All right. Just chill out. Okay. All right. Yep. Stop with the clock. Stop with the play clock. Do not put a play clock. This is not fair. I'm serious. I'll just take my fucking headphones off.
Come on. Don't do that.
Hold on. This is easy. No, because Troy Smith started and Todd Beckman started, so it's not Ohio State. It's not. It's Jason White.
What'd you say?
It's Jason White.
Jason White, Oklahoma. Yeah, baby.
JD, I am happier than a puppy with 2 Peters.
All right. Let's keep the momentum rolling. Let's not stop now. All right. So this former Ohio State wide receiver, they were drafted by the Falcons in 2004. They're the school's all-time leader in receiving yards. Who was it? So it's a former wide receiver at Ohio State, drafted by the Falcons in 2004. All-time leader in receiving yards for Ohio State.
Anthony Gonzalez.
Who?
Okay, never mind. Hold on. All right. I wasn't reading the chat. I'm reading the chat now. I read now. I didn't read it for Jason White. I just looked at the chat. But none of you are right. None of you even said the answer. What's happening in my ears right now?
Dude, I can.
Is he talking?
I'm losing it, man.
All right. Who is it? I don't know.
You don't know? It's Michael Jenkins.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so I got 1 out of 3. 2 more. Let's speed it up a little bit. Go.
Okay, but these get harder. I was trying to give you the easy ones first.
Well, I didn't know that. You didn't fucking ask me that.
Well, I didn't want to play mind games with
Hurry up and ask me the.
Okay. All right. Next question. You're not doing super hot.
Okay.
As of the 2022 and 2023 college football season, how many redheads are starters for a D1 college football team?
So you have 130. You have 130, 31 teams. 131 teams. Most teams are predominantly African American, so that would rule out. I'm going to say that would rule out 80% of players. So now I go to I got 20% of 130, but what of that 20% actually has redhead? Like I would say 3% of the 20%. So I'm going to say in college football, major college football right now, out of 130 teams, there are 32 redheads.
Okay. So I really like the thought process there. You really did a good job on whittling it down.
Yeah.
But where I think you should have taken it a step further is you didn't think about starters. These are starters.
Yeah, I was doing teams, and there's only 22 starters per team, so it's a lot lower. It's like 4.
The answer is 0. There's 0 redheads.
I don't know that that's true.
But you don't question the rest of these?
No, the rest of these are tangible, and I know.
This is the same thing you do on the dozen, where you don't like the answer because you got it wrong, and then you start like attacking the question.
I just think this question is not. First of all, what if he's auburn haired? What if he's what if in a different light that you could see his hair is brighter? What if he dyed his hair that morning? You don't know.
The research has been done.
By who?
I'll have to get you my sources. I don't know them off the top of my head. You caught me off guard.
How do you not know your sources?
Well, you think when the sun comes up, it just comes up to hear you crow, don't it?
See, you're being my grandfather again. All right, if you drop a slur, I'm going to know you're my grandfather. Okay, what's your last question?
Okay, well, now this is all adding up to, amount of hills on the beans. All right, last question, number 5. Do you think there's any chance that Katie Stats will let me take her out on a date?
This one I know the answer to. This one I know the answer to. Now, if you asked her out on a date a year ago, maybe. But now, no, there's no chance she's going out on a date with you, JD. Although she's probably amused and she likes the cut of your jib, no, she's not going out with you.
I'm going to come to New York and I'm going to ask her out. You watch me. All right. As I leave a little parting ways, I did try and come in TJ's hole last week. That was a mess. Your hole was wide open first half. Second half closed up super tight. Did not like that. Brandon, can I get your cell phone number?
Yeah.
Off air.
Yeah.
You DM me. I have a lot more to just talk to you about one-on-one.
Not going to give it to anybody else, are you?
Okay. All right. Well, I love you. You got any questions for me?
He didn't answer. No, I'm good. Thank you.
What did you have for dinner?
I haven't had dinner yet. I don't know what's waiting for me at home at dinner.
Last night.
Oh, last night. My wife made a beautiful play on spaghetti, but it was Mexican ingredients. It was noodles with we had some ground beef with tomatoes and corn, and it was beautifully done.
TJ, what did you have?
I didn't eat dinner last night.
That's a lie.
I had like a frozen pizza at like 11:30.
Then you had frozen pizza.
At like 11:30.
I mean, JD's going to call and ask what you had for dinner last night. You can't say I didn't have dinner and then say what you had at night. That was your dinner.
Have you seen the pancake spaghetti video?
I've not. Have you seen it, JD?
No, I have not.
Okay, I'll see you, buddy.
All right, I love you. Bye.
All right. Well, that was JD.
He seems nice.
Just since he's watching, let's just flash my phone number on the screen so
okay.
he can have it.
I'll put it in the comments one number at a time, scrambled up.
Nobody else use it.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's just for JD. Okay. Chris in Tulsa, go.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, better now that I'm talking to you. What's up?
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm happy now that I'm talking to you. Hey, I was just checking top 3 gravies. What would you say? And then I got a follow-up on who in your family has a cast iron skillet that you would want, and how much seasoning buildup does it have on it?
So I inherited my grandmother's cast iron skillets last year. It has about probably 50 or 60 years of use. I don't know how much buildup is in there, but it's got a lot of love that's gone into it. I got that. Gravies, I didn't know till I got up here that they consider like tomato sauce or pasta sauce or whatever you want to call it gravy, the way they cook it.
No, that's blasphemous.
Yeah. So I like a good giblet gravy for your stuffing or your dressing on Thanksgiving.
Right.
I like a good white gravy that goes over the top of country fried steak. But the best gravy is just a good, strong brown gravy that you put on top of mashed potatoes or perhaps rice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. What is this show? The Brandon Walker College Football Show. We go to Tim in Tennessee. Go, Tim.
Hey, Brother Brandon, I'll ask you a college football question. I just have a quick hypothetical for you. So if your team had the supposed number two quarterback in the country, would you be scared of Kentucky?
No, I'm not.
Yesterday on the damn show, you said you were scared with the your supposed number two quarterback in the country. I think you're just a pussy.
Well, that's because you're from Kentucky and you're not bright.
Do what?
Oh, sorry. Well, that's because you're from Kentucky and you're not very smart. Sorry, I understand that you probably couldn't understand me. Hey, Tim, real quick before we go any further, suck my dick. All right, 888-STOOL-22. Hey, man, this is Tim. Are you scared of Kentucky? Jesus Christ. If you're going to call and talk shit, call and talk shit. Don't try to be clever, Tim. That ship sailed on you years ago. Brian in Corpus Christi, go.
Hey, Brandon Walker. Wanted to get your thoughts on a hot take that I've been working on here over about the past 2 weeks. I agree with you 100%. Texas is back 100% to where they were when they were, in the picture at least for, national title contenders, at least within the next 2-3 years.
Sure.
But Texas A&M, on the other hand, is where Texas, or the old Texas was, coming off of their national title loss. They have, the coach who won a title. They're getting those recruiting classes that are top 5 in the nation consistently and just can't do anything with them. I don't see anything, really positive for them over the, next decade or two, especially with the pressure that's coming down on Jimbo Fisher.
Well, let me ask you a question. And this is fine. What you've just said is fine. Okay?
Yeah.
When Georgia hired Kirby Smart, there was no idea, there was no thought process that, oh, my goodness, they've hired the next guy. They've hired the next dynasty builder. They've hired the next incredible coach. And when he got Georgia up and running, and then for the first couple times he got in big games, he absolutely shit down his leg. He lost to a freshman quarterback in Alabama for the national title. He had this dumb fake punt and blew a big lead against Alabama in the SEC title game. When he would get to big games, he would just shit his pants. But here's what fixed Kirby Smart. He recruited at such a high level, it didn't matter. He out-recruited his own coaching abilities, or at least he out-recruited his previous coaching abilities while his coaching abilities improved to the point where his team got so good last year, his coaching wouldn't have mattered whatsoever. If Jimbo keeps getting the number 1 class every year, which I don't think he is, but if he did, you can out-recruit your problems, you out-recruit your coach. If he can put together 2 more top 5 classes to go with this number 1 class, then he will fix his problems by virtue of just having the best players. The problem he faces is, can he stay long enough to see that happen? Because I'm not sure the answer is yes.
I don't disagree with you that those recruiting rankings and everything, really do matter. But I think we've seen this before from a lot of schools that consistently churn out those top 10 classes that just effectively shit the bed over and over and over again.
Well, the only thing Jimbo hasn't done right at A&M is the only thing he really did right for sure at Florida State. You know why he won a national title in 2013?
Go ahead, why?
He got the quarterback exactly right. He got the best quarterback in the country. At A&M, he's gotten everything but the quarterback. And I don't know if he just got lucky that one time or if he aged out of knowing what took to be a good quarterback. But the fact that he's going out there with the number one recruiting class and rolling out Max Johnson, Haynes King, and whoever else they got on the roster is criminal. So his inability to find the quarterback is going to be his damning thing in the end. Thank you very much. All right. 888-STOOL-22. How's the chat doing?
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, they are being weird. There's a bunch of Evans all of a sudden. What's the number? 888-STOOL-22. Oh, are they mocking me because I say it so much? Katie, will you marry me? All right. She's had a date proposition and a marriage proposal all in the same show.
Dave just posted the pizza review from Rutgers.
I don't care.
You would care if it was your favorite pizza place.
Yeah, but he won't go to Starkville because everybody gets to have their moment except for me.
Make them legalize gambling. Run for governor.
PD says Katie is the sexiest one there. Just y'all want to chill out on the Katie stuff tonight? What'd Katie do? Jesus. Katie, did you release a calendar and I didn't know about it? Why are these guys all horned up for you tonight? Look at her looking at the chat, too. She's so fucking happy. Look at her. She's so happy looking at the chat. Oh, man. Line 9. It's Thomas in Chicago. Go.
Hey, Brandon. How you doing?
Great.
I got office trivia for you and then two things to talk about. So with office trivia, a Barstool blog wrote about this. In the Christmas episode of the Yankee Swap, what is the infamous fantasy football trade Daryl talks to Roy with?
I can't believe you traded Sean Alexander. I needed defense, which doesn't make sense in the world of college of fantasy football. Nobody would ever make that trade at all, but it was Sean Alexander, and he needed defense.
Yeah, and then I saw some TikTok guys say, fuck it, defense. Sometimes I don't even start defense because they give me 0 fucking points. It's like you start Sean, and then someone actually did the stats. So that year the show came out. If let's say he actually had Sean Alexander, that year Sean Alexander had 27 rushing touchdowns and 1,800 yards.
Yeah, it was the year he won the MVP.
Yeah, it's crazy. With Penn State, Michigan, I want to talk to you about something. So obviously, a lot of Penn State people talked about like Drew Aller versus Sean Clifford, but I feel like for this game, if let's say Sean Clifford does down like a couple of touchdowns, I feel like Penn State would go to Drew Aller. But think about this: if Michigan's down a couple of touchdowns, they can't go to anyone else but J.J. McCarthy because Cade McNamara, who's a veteran, is hurt. So they can't pull. They don't have him in his pocket, or Jim Harbaugh doesn't have like him as a card to play if they're down by a couple touchdowns. So just something to think about that.
I think if you're relying on your backup quarterback as a strength in a game, I think you've already. I feel what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It could be a close game, and you want that spark. But if you're relying on the spark, then the flame's probably already out. So. You're not going to be able to fall behind Michigan and come back with a backup quarter. Although it would be incredible if Drew Aller came in. Drew Aller is going to be their starter eventually. It's just a matter of time. Thank you very much for the call. Brandon gets his picks from Katie. Oh, that's not true. If it was, I'd probably win a lot more. Apparently, Katie is just shitting gold, according to the fucking chat tonight. We go to the state of Arkansas, where we've got Ryder. Hello, Ryder.
Hey, B-Walk. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Go ahead.
Hey, just real quick, God bless you and your family. Been praying for you. I know some people just say that, but, some of us actually mean it.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm one of those, rare, rational Razorback fans. Going into the year, I posted every year May 15th, me and a couple buddies. I had the schedule going in 7-5. I had 4 straight L's like you, bang, 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 bang. Tough stretch. You nailed it. You got it. One thing that's been irking me, you didn't lose last year because of a bad call. You lost because you missed several easy field goals. Let's not rewrite history here.
Well, you do seem rational. You do seem rational, so let me rationally come back to you, okay? All right?
Okay, absolutely. Go.
Last year, did Mississippi State have a lead in the final minute against Arkansas?
They did. Did Mississippi State have a chance to win the game at the end?
I'm asking you the questions now. Last year, did Mississippi State have a lead on the final minute against Arkansas?
Correct.
Did Mississippi State have a stop on that very drive of 4th and 3 that was called a pass interference? Did that happen?
A flop is part of the game now, baby.
Did that happen?
Yes.
Did that happen?
It happened. Flop is part of the game.
Was that pass interference or was that a flop?
The great ones get the calls.
No, Arkansas got the call in this case. You know it was bullshit. I know it was bullshit. You won. Good. Enjoy it. But it was bullshit. And that's what made that ass whipping on Saturday so spectacularly satisfying. Even though you didn't have your starting quarterback, really didn't matter. Your starting quarterback wasn't going to make much of a difference. But I do want to go back to the rational stuff. Let's not argue.
So
here's the thing that your other Arkansas fans didn't realize or didn't take into account or just willfully ignored. Arkansas had maybe the toughest schedule in the fucking country. They did. Outside the conference, they played Cincinnati. They got BYU on the road. Inside the conference, they got trips to Mississippi State. They got Alabama. The schedule never let up for Arkansas. They even have Liberty later on, and that's not easy either. Like, Arkansas' schedule was a bear, and any injury was going to expose them. I think they were going to get exposed regardless, but they're a 7-5 team. That's who they are, and that's not bad.
No, that's absolutely not bad, but you didn't let me finish. I'm rational in football, but you know what's coming up next month?
What?
Your top 5 Arkansas Razorback basketball team, led by the #1 draft pick, Nick Smith Jr. I don't want to hear any more Vic Wembanyama mama. It's Nick Smith Jr. time, baby.
I will give you $10,000 if Victor Wembanyama is not the #1 pick in the draft.
I don't want to take that bet, but
of course you don't. Thank you very much. That's like calling me in 2002 and telling me that Juan Dixon will be the #1 pick when LeBron James is out there.
Where did this guy come from?
He's not from America.
Right. He's from France.
He's from France, but he's 7'4", 7'5", and has the skills of a guard.
He's 7'5"?
He's 7'5".
So I've heard the name 150 times.
He's 7'5". He runs like a deer. He handles the ball like a point guard. It's the goddamnedest thing you've ever seen.
Why?
It's the goddamnedest thing you've ever seen.
Have I not heard his name even before this week?
Because he's just getting to – he's always been the #1 pick over the last 3 years. It was always building up, but now the draft is getting close, and it's his season to be the big guy, so that's why you're hearing it now.
He's like 18, or is he –
He's 18, yeah.
Because I feel like I'm normally on top of this in some way, but – he sounds amazing.
He's the damnedest thing I've ever seen.
I'm going to look up highlights right now.
You're going to see a 7'5" guy crossing people up, shooting fadeaways. It's ridiculous. Like a taller KD. That's exactly what he is. And KD's a freak himself. Mike in PA, go. Mike.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Brandon, love the show. Hey, I just want to call in and give you my thoughts on the Penn State-Michigan game and get your thoughts after. I want to break mine down into the good, the bad, and the ugly from a Penn State perspective. So, my point of view for Penn State, the good is the running backs we got. Obviously, that young freshman grouping that we have, dynamic running backs that we got. They took the decision-making out of Sean Clifford's hands, thanks God. They don't run the RPO anymore. They just do the straight inside-outside zone. And then they haven't really shown Clifford's ability to run the ball yet. So they sort of kept that card, hidden away for now. On the defensive side of the ball, I think we're the best defensive line that they face. I think we can limit their running game, which will take a big advantage away from them. And then special teams, we got a punter that can, I think it's going to be a field position type of game where our punter can, win the field position battle for us. The bad, right tackle's been an issue for us all year. And with Michigan, I think they've had 12 sacks in the past 2 games.
I think that's going to be a serious problem. Pressure coming, especially from the right edge. And then our linebackers. We have inexperienced linebackers. I think our best linebacker is a true freshman. But one thing that was exposed by Central Michigan was our ability to cover in the pass. So that might creep up and be a problem for us as well. And then the ugly sort of tied in with the right tackle situation. Any Penn State fan can tell you, we've seen it 1,000 times. You know, anytime Clifford feels pressure, he starts running and he throws off his back foot, and inevitably he'll float one up there, and it'll either be picked or the defensive defender will drop it. So he's almost guaranteed to throw one or two toss-up balls. It could be a key turnover. And the last one for the ugly is, since 2017, Penn State is 0-7 versus top 10 teams.
Yeah, no, everything you said makes a lot of sense. Penn State hasn't really delivered in this spot very often. I think a lot of the same things you said as concerns, I feel like Michigan has a lot of concerns that haven't been able to be exposed yet because they haven't played anybody that can expose them. And for the first time, both teams are playing somebody that can expose each other. So it's a very interesting game of unknowns. I do like the fact that while Sean Clifford doesn't get a lot of love, he's fucking been here before a lot of times. He's been in this spot. He's been in this big moment. J.J. McCarthy is about to shoulder the load in a massive game for the first time in his career. I think that's a bigger deal than people think. Thank you very much for the call. Really good call. Really good call. Really enjoyed that. Buddy. Okay. Katie, can you get out of the chat? I'd like to be able to talk football and not. These guys are fucking on Tinder over here. Andrew in Kansas City, go.
Hey, Brandon. I was just calling. I was wondering what you thought of the Mizzou Tigers.
I don't. Thank you for the call. That was a dickhead thing to do. I shouldn't have done that.
This Wembanyama kid looks pretty good.
I shouldn't have done that. I feel bad. I mean, it was funny. Like, it was funny. That's a funny thing to do. You think he might think that I accidentally hung up? Yeah, he looks pretty good, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't like looking at these 7-foot-plus guys. They make me kind of uncomfortable.
Turns out when you put the best skills on the court in a 7'5" body, it's pretty impressive.
It's a video
looking.
game character. Like, I don't like Chet Holmgren. He makes me I always think he's about to break one of his legs catastrophically.
Remember when that Louisville guy did that?
Kevin Ware, I'll never forget. I wrote a whole paper about it.
Remember that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Garrett and Cincy. By the way, could you get off the Wembanyama highlights and give me a couple calls? Vet me a couple calls?
I'm doing research for the show.
Yeah, I understand, but this is a college football show. You're watching Wembanyama highlights.
Why do they have pro leagues?
Can you please just vet some calls?
Is this a high school team?
Garrett and Cincy, go.
Hey, how's it going, Brandon?
Good.
So I'm an Illinois fan all my life, and this is the first time I've had any sort of semblance of hope in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Illinois fares right now as the Big Ten West continues to trudge along?
I think the best team in the Big Ten West is Purdue. But I think we might find out the second best team in the Big Ten West this week when Minnesota comes to Illinois. Minnesota, for some reason, a 6.5-point favorite. I just don't see it. Illinois has an incredible defense, a really rock-solid defense, and a good running game. And Bielema knows how to muddy these games up and make them rock fights. And not in the Iowa sense either, where they just suck offensively. He knows how to take a good offense and his strengths and make these games 13-10 slugfest. I really love this game to be close. I love Illinois to win it. And Minnesota is a favorite, a heavy favorite for some reason. Bielema has he's taken this team, and he's done exactly what he always does. He builds them on both lines of scrimmage. He finds his horse running back and rides him until the sun goes down, and he ends up winning 8, 9, 10 games. So Illinois looks great to me. Thank you. Hey, what's this Poland joke?
The rapper Lil Yachty?
Uh-huh.
He released a pretty silly-sounding song where he says, I took the walk to Poland.
Okay.
Walk being short for, or slang for lean.
Isn't lean slang for something?
Yeah, walk is like another term for.
Okay. Why Poland?
That's where the meme comes in, I guess. It's not even a flex. In Poland, they sell cough syrup over the counter. It's not even like anything impressive.
Might take my wife to Poland tonight.
Fuck yeah, pimp.
Peyton in Tennessee, what's up?
Hey, Brandon, how are you? I got 2 questions for you. One, have you ever been to beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee?
Yep. Many times.
2, if the Vols go out there and get blown out on Saturday and get blown out by Georgia and lose to Kentucky at 9-3, what do you think their floor is if things go sideways here in the next month or so?
Well, hey, I think a 9-3 season for Tennessee would be a gigantic step forward and big for the program, and I don't see 9-3 for Tennessee. I think they're better than everybody in the East they're going to play, and they've already conquered LSU out of the West. And they got Alabama, of course, this week. I think if they get blown out by Alabama, get blown out by Georgia, they settle in for a nice 10-2 season and a huge step forward for Josh Heupel, who wins 10 games in his second year. So I don't really see much downside for Tennessee right now, unless Alabama just emasculates them to the point they do follow up and lose to like a Missouri or somebody. They could fall apart that way, but I don't see it. I think there's a 10-2 floor on Tennessee right now.
Okay, and one last thing. Heisman winner through week 6, what is it? I'll hang up. Thanks, Brandon.
C.J. Stroud. It's C.J. Stroud by a mile. 24 touchdowns. He's lost his best receiver, and it's even though they have the best receiver room in the country, and Igbuka steps up, Marvin Harrison Jr. steps up, C.J. Stroud's been the best player in the country through 6 weeks. James in Tennessee, go ahead.
What's up, Brandon? I wanted to talk about the Egg Bowl.
What'd you say?
It's gonna. I want to talk about.
Just start the show off again. Start the call off again.
Oh, it's James from Tennessee.
But you said what's up? What'd you say my name was?
What's up, Brandon? I want to talk about the Egg Bowl.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to talk about the Egg Bowl. It's going to be, I think it's going to decide the SEC West because I think Mississippi State and Ole Miss are both going to beat Alabama. Alabama will also lose to Tennessee this weekend. So,
well, as much as I would love to live in that world, God damn it, it would be a beautiful world.
Well, yeah.
No chance Mississippi State beats Alabama in Tuscaloosa, and I think there's no chance Ole Miss beats Alabama in Oxford. I would give Ole Miss a better chance because they're in Oxford, but Mississippi State since 2007 has one game against Alabama that was in single digits. So we're just not built to beat Alabama. I would love for it to happen. My God, you painted a beautiful picture. But I do think it could be like 2 9-2 teams, or maybe 2 8-3 teams. But I don't think it could be 2 11-1 teams.
Yeah, no, I think it's a kind of a stretch, but I just think that Alabama's not that good. They showed it this weekend.
Yeah. Well, they've showed it multiple times. They showed it at Texas as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Thank you very much. 888 still 22. PD says, Katie, not only are you the best, but you're the hottest in that studio. Well, there's a hell of a compliment. Jesus Christ. Hold on. To show the studios, look at what we got in there. TJ. God damn it, Stanko's hard to look at. Whatever. My last 2 callers are... Wait, is this over? Oh, fuck. Just looked up at the clock.
We got Dozen up next.
Dozen up next with a bunch of teams that can't beat me, including Kirk Minahan's whiny, narcissistic ass. He can never touch me in trivia, and he knows it. That's why he runs like a baby. That's the show.